Yeah. Teaching the gains. Stick with me. I'm going to keep this video short, sharp and sweet so you can watch it, learn, take it, go, gain. What's up guys, it's Lex and we're back again with another tutorial, and today we're going to show you how to develop big arms. The one thing you need to know about getting big arms is this: it's not the bicep, it's the tricep, it's this. This is what gives you a big arm. So today we're going to focus on tricep movements and making sure that you are getting these right, but we're going to be going fast. So what movements we're going to look at today? We're going to take a look at some cable movements and some dumbbell movements. The cables are user friendly because you're able to stand up and do a lot of the movements. Really easy, just changing handles and moving on. When it comes to the dumbbells, we're going to have to create a few more angles to hit the muscle, but we're going to take you through those today. As I said, quick and simple, so let's get going. So first off, we're going to take a look at the variety of cable extensions that are available to you. We'll start with the straight bar, then we're going to move on to some rope and some single arm movements. What we're going to look at specifically here is the posture that you need to maintain and where you're going to extend the arm to get that maximum contraction and maintain load. A lot of people on here make some serious errors, and we're going to take a look at those now. So here are the top errors that we see commonly in the gym. Number one, bringing the weight off and going straight into your movement. If you start here and go straight in, you have no chance to set the body and get yourself a good foundation on which to lift. So number one is to make sure to set the body before lifting. Number two, what you'll see is a lot of people rounding off the shoulders, pushing through and leaning their body weight over to get the extension. This is not focusing on the tricep anymore. This is all about body weight. I can sit here and chill all day. No good. Number three, lifting off center. And by that I mean leaning the head to one side and crossing over from the central point of the cable. This is a bad one because wherever your head goes, the body will follow. And if you're not a seasoned lifter and you don't have control of the body like most people don't, leaning your head to one side will make the whole body lean and your symmetry is lost. Number four, being a jerk. By that I mean swinging through, putting all the body weight, letting all the joints move out of position. This again is just utilizing body weight and momentum to lift the weight. You're not focusing on the muscle, so you're not going to get the gains that you're intending. Number five, limp-wristed Larry. And by that I mean not maintaining a strong wrist posture. What we want to be doing is driving through, keeping the wrist solid. What you see a lot of people do is they begin to drive, the wrists are weak, hands are moving back and forth on the bar, so they end up lifting like this. Unless you're deliberately making the wrist flex for a tension purpose, your wrist should be strong and solid, and this goes for pretty much all movements in the gym. So that's the errors covered. They're the things you don't want to do. But how do we not do them? By having the right posture and by setting it right every time before we start lifting. This is going to apply to every single standing extension that you do for triceps in general. So set all of these in order as I show you now, and you're good to go. So here we go, stepping in parallel to the cable. My feet are nice and even, toes in line. Knees are soft. I'm going to engage my glutes and my abs, so I've got control of my core and my hips so that I'm not locked out and not bolt upright like a plank. From here, what I want to do is keep my shoulders back and my chest up, but I'm not going to raise my chest by expanding my rib cage. I'm going to simply lift my chest up, keeping my core engaged. So core's engaged, glutes engaged, chest is up, and my shoulders are back. From here, I'm going to take hold of the bar. I'm then going to pull in with my elbows, and I'm going to set the weight and my posture from here. So take a look at it. Chest is up, shoulders are back, my head is neutral, spine's neutral, knees soft, feet parallel. From here, I'm going to drive through my palms towards the floor, extending down until a full extension. My palms now face the floor, so you can see now I've flexed at the wrists deliberately. One thing your body's going to want to do that you're going to stop it is movement from the elbows. So as I drive down, what I'm not going to do is let the elbows move backwards. This is going to hinder my extension of my arms. What I'm also not going to do on the way up is let the elbows come forwards. So you're pinning your elbows to your sides and driving through with your palms. Then the arm is finishing a very slight angle. What I don't want to do is slam the bar into my thighs. So it's finishing about 6 inches away from my hips, arms extended, slight angle. That's maintaining the load on the tricep. All the way up to the top and repeat. Bang. Different grips mean different weights. On the bar or anything where we're not working independently with our hands, you can get a heavier load. What you don't want to be doing is trying to get a heavy load on the rope where there's less stability and your hands are working more independently. The bar is more for your compound heavy lifting. The rope work, the independent hand work, is where we're focusing on squeezing and technique. So for comparisons, on the bar work, we'll load this up with a 60, easy 12 rep weight for me. Now, keeping that same weight on, try and do it with the rope. Hands are working more independently here, there's no stability, so I'm having to work much harder. So to try and lift that 60 with a rope, that's at least 40% more effort needed. So for the rope, what I'm looking more for is around the 30, 35. So that's only 60% of the previous weight. Now you can see I can set my posture, nice and relaxed. I can drive through and squeeze. Nothing is overloading. So by keeping the weight in a proper utilizable range, my posture stays solid, my contraction stays stronger, and I'm able to get better reps. Better reps over a long period of time will give you better gains than bad reps all the time. Some cable variations. So starting with some single arm, cable on its own, no handle. You can grab just the ball that's on the cable, either standing straight on, doing single arm. This is a real nice way of creating a nice balance to your lift. So if you find that you have a weak arm and a strong arm, a leading side and a weaker side, this is a really good way of helping balance and making each side work individually so that you're not just lifting with your leading side. Another variation is to turn with your shoulders parallel to the cables and cross-body extensions. Here what you're really going to have to focus on is keeping the shoulder back, because the shoulder's going to want to pop forward. So make sure that your chest is kept nice and high and that you drive through, ending with the arm at a nice angle. For the bar work, a really nice variation I like to utilize is underhand grip tricep extension. This is really good if you suffer from impingement in the wrists, or at the moment you've got something to grind your wrists, or any issues with the shoulders. Because this is a pulling motion rather than a pushing motion, it can help alleviate those pains. But you simply grip the bar with an underhand, making sure to stop the elbows from flaring, and from here you're just going to drive down to that same angle and finish, pulling through and extending that squeeze at the bottom before returning back up, not letting the elbows move backwards or forwards. Moving on to a fan favorite with the bar work, and that's skull crushers. A couple of things I like to tweak on here, and that is working with the arms at an angle behind the head rather than bringing it up and over the head. I tend to keep an ever so slight angle outward. We're going to keep the elbows nice and tight. We're also going to keep the core nice and tight and bring the feet up onto the bench. If you don't want to be able to bring the feet up onto the bench, or the gym doesn't allow you to, just make sure that you're setting your feet nice and deep back like you would with a bench press, so that you're able to drive through the floor and just keep all that hip and core area stable. Extending up, get your head on the edge of the bench so that you've got clearance, so you're not going to smack the bench on the way down. Elbows. See how my elbows are rolled out at the moment? I'm going to roll them in. So I'm rolling my elbows in. The hand grip doesn't change. Rolling in, keep that nice and tight. From here, we're going to angle out and back, and this is our start and finish point. From here, release down to the crown of the head and extend back up to that angle. Holding here, keeping those elbows rolled in. And this is a safer, but very strict and very good tricep favorite. If you struggle with the bar for any reason, or you just want some variations, the dumbbell skull crushers is a rotational exercise, but one that is a much lighter weight than you'll need with the bar, but gets a really, really nice deep burn. Elbows rolled in, make sure you've got clearance, hammer grip down by the side of the head, and then extend up and roll out. The trick here is to really drive through the palms to the ceiling and keep those elbows nice and tight, and you will feel this within the first 5 reps. Really simple, really versatile variation of the skull crusher that will take a lot of pressure off the wrists and the joints if that's one of the problems, or just change things up. So another fan favorite, and that is the behind the head dumbbell extensions. Got a couple of little tricks for you here. They're going to help maintain your technique, reduce your injury risk, and help focus it on the muscle. So this is the preacher curl bench. So seat here, pad here. You're going to sit on this back to front. Why? Because now the preacher curl gives you a nice support on your back and helps you maintain an upright posture with your chest up, but also able to engage your abs. It's offering a little bit of support rather than doing this with an upright seat, which one, can sometimes get in the way of the lifts, and two, as a result of not having the seat behind you, you've got a less tendency to lean a little bit forward and let the shoulders round. So this is going to allow us to get a full extension, but it's allow us to be safe whilst doing so. So at this point, I'm going to engage my abs, make sure that they're tight. What I'm not doing is expanding the rib cage and letting my lower back arch, which a lot of people will do to try and get the dumbbell behind the head. So pulling your abs in, you're going to plant your feet, symmetrical, feet in line. From here, we're going to lower behind the head. A lot of people will stop here. You need to get that deep stretch and tuck the elbows nice and tight. This is going to help take a lot of the stress off the shoulders. If you flare the elbows out and start lifting, what you're going to do is put some stress on the shoulders. So elbows nice and tight by the head, then we're going to extend straight up, palms to the ceiling. And that's what we're going to do. Every time we come in, bringing the elbows nice and tight, and then extend up to the ceiling, keeping the elbows as tight as you can, but don't try and overly rotate them inward, because again, that's going to cause some discomfort. So you can roll them out a little bit as you come up, but as you come in, tight by the temples, a little roll out towards the top, full extension. Making sure to keep the elbows in place, core engaged, feet planted. This one's going to allow you to get full extension, full contraction in a safe manner. Hope you can hear me over this beastly music. But just the one final one I wanted to cover, because this is one I see a lot of people doing, and I want to correct you on it. Over the head tricep extensions. So you'll see a lot of people on this Then what they'll do is lean all their body weight into it, and then they end up throwing it through and leaning their body weight down. What you can do is lean the body weight in, but then your body needs to stay static. Bring your elbows up to temple height, and imagine there's a pad under your elbows. From here you then extend out, not letting the elbows shift position. So imagine there's a pad under those elbows and they can't move, and this is what you need to be focusing on. So none of this, pulling the elbows down, driving through with your body weight. That's exactly what you want to avoid. It's what we see so many people do. If you want to do the exercise in a complete way that will stop you doing any of that, do it from the bottom rung of the cable. So we now have the rope on the bottom cable. What you're going to do is you're going to rotate, bring it up behind the head. From here, you're going to set your feet nice and parallel. Abs engaged, glutes engaged. From here, just like we did with the preacher bench with the dumbbell, we're going to bring it deep behind the head. But the elbows can stay quite wide on this one because there's not so much stress on the shoulders due to it being a cable at the bottom. It's quite stabilized. But again, if you want to keep the elbows tight, you can. From there, you're going to extend up, knuckles together, and then you're going to split it at the top and extend the arms fully. What you don't want to do is try and overly split. So you see a lot of people trying to split the rope as wide as they can and end up like this with bent arms. The goal here is to extend the arms fully, and wherever you need to split the rope to do that, that's all you do. And that's where you're going to get a nice deep contraction, you're going to get a nice deep stretch and a really clean movement. And it's near impossible to shove your body weight through that exercise. So if you struggle doing it from overhead, you've got bad habits, flip it, put it on the bottom cable, it'll sort you out in an instant. Workout structure. What I prefer to do is high frequency training. What that means is training everything at least twice a week. But that also means doing less work on each day, but more body parts. So 3 body parts, but only 2 exercises per body part, but you're going to do 5 sets. So for each body part, that's 2 exercises, 10 sets in total, 5 sets per exercise. What I like to do is a compound with an isolation on one day, then on the secondary day where I come in during the week and train it, I'll do a different compound and a different isolation. It allows for a lot of versatility. Doing 3 muscle groups in one session sounds like a lot, but you're moving from muscle group to muscle group so quickly that you often feel much fresher and get through the workout much quicker because you take less rest time. Rather than beating the muscle up in the old bro style of doing a single body part a week, you're going to feel much better, much fitter, your injury risk is going to go down and your gains are going to go up. So there you have it. If you want big arms, stop pumping the biceps, start working the triceps. Try adapting to that high frequency routine. If you have any questions, make sure to comment below. I do read all the comments and I will answer them. If you know the answer to a question that's in the comments, crew, do your thing and answer away and help each other out. Let's build that community feel. So until the next video, Lex out.